What's up, y'all, man? It's we a week into the dynasty. I hope that you all are enjoying it. I'm having tons of fun, bro. Um, even though I wish I would have beat Virginia, but that's neither here nor there. I'm super excited to do the weekly recap. Hopefully, like I said, hope you're enjoying the league. Hope you're getting a grasp on recruiting. Some housekeeping before I jump into the recap. Make sure that you're streaming and that if you're on Twitch, you're saving your stream because I am watching a lot of the games. I'm enjoying a lot of the gameplay. We've had some really good user matchups. I've seen some really good user computer games, which I know for some of y'all is infuriating, but hey, that's NCAA. That's how EA Sports College Football plays. Heisman is challenging, and I enjoy it. And so I hope that you're enjoying it as well. Remember, uh, if you don't play CPU, it's not a fair sim like against a user. It's going to be a forced loss because you got 48 hours to play CPU. So ain't no excuses. All right, we good? All right, into the weekly recap. First, we're going to start off with the Heisman Watch. So these are five guys from user control teams, of course, that I think might have a chance to snag the Heisman this year, which would be super dope as we are playing. A lot of us playing with lower level teams, but that doesn't mean we don't have good players. And so I'm excited to talk about some of these guys and some of the dope things that they're doing so far this season. Where am I? Oh, I'm sorry. I got my notebook with all the stats on it. I'm like, where'd my stuff go? All right, here we go. So first, we got Elijah Davis, halfback from the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. He's number 7 in the photo. He does not have a ton of yards. He does have 6 touchdowns already, which is about 2 touchdowns a game is what he's averaging. And the Louisiana runs the ball a lot, and he's averaging like 9.3 yards per carry. Is that right? Yeah, 9.3 yards per carry. And so he's cooking every time he gets the ball. If you haven't got a chance to hop into Louisiana Stream, you should. He runs a super fun offense. He runs a lot of flex bone, triple option stuff, and those guys be flying around, none more so than Elijah Davis. I just think if he gets him some more touches, because the thing is going to be yards, he's going to need more yards. And so if he gets him some more touches, I think he really has a shot to challenge for the Heisman this year. I don't know if that's counterproductive, though, with his offense, because his offense kind of works well because it's by committee, and so you don't know who's going to get the ball or which way they're going. So it's a catch-22, but I just thought averaging almost 10 yards per carry, this guy has a chance to make some history this year in the country, putting up some big-time numbers, and so I wanted to make sure I included him on the Heisman watch. Next guy, Xander Mueller. I don't think he'll have a chance to win, but I didn't want it to be all offensive players, so I try to find a defensive player that could put together a season. So through 3 games, he has 6 TFLs and 4 interceptions, which is a unique stat line. Obviously, I think Northwestern, this is his user, and so I think if he can get to about 15, 16 TFLs and 10, 12 interceptions, he has a shot to at least be on the Heisman watch list or at least win Best Defensive Player of the Year. And Northwestern's another guy to watch, especially this is user. He's all over the field, and I think that's really cool. Against there's no better feeling than lurking the computer. Like it's the best feeling in video games, and so he's obviously done it a few times, and I feel like he has a chance to keep that going as the year progresses. Next on the Heisman watch list is Chris Tyree. Unique thing about Chris Tyree is he's actually a transfer from Notre Dame. And so for all my guys recruiting who like trying to steal guys, this transfer portal at the end of the season is going to be vital. Virginia gets Chris Tyree. He's their number 1 receiver this season. He has over 450 yards. He has 6 touchdowns. He is cooking. I played against him. I didn't have an answer. He's been the go-to guy for University of Virginia, and he's a transfer. And so as we move through the season, keep recruiting, but just be ready when we get to that transfer portal. You better be aggressive because these are the type of guys that can turn a team around. Okay, so Chris Tyree's on my Heisman watch list. The next one is just Vanderbilt's offense. Micah Bell and Nate Johnson are putting up astronomical numbers. Michael Bell has doubled the amount of yards of the next closest receiver. He has over 1,000 yards already and 14 touchdowns. Number one, of course, in both of those categories. He's also a transfer. And what's crazy about Micah Bell is he played corner at Notre Dame, transferred to Vanderbilt, and plays receiver. And so position changes are a real thing in college football. So you can recruit super speedy guys on both sides of the ball and move them around, and they might find a place on your team and maybe even in the future in the NFL on your team that in a whole different position they were playing before they transferred. And so Michael Bell is cooking for him. And part of the reason he's cooking is because his quarterback, who transferred over from Utah, is probably the best quarterback, him or Malachi Nelson in Boise State. Two best quarterbacks from any users in the dynasty. Nate Johnson has a cannon for an arm. He has wheels. He is leading the country in passing yards, 2,200 passing yards already in the season. Has really good touchdown interception ratio, and he's a big reason why Vanderbilt has won all of their games so far. It's really like, it's so funny. Like, you look at the teams and you see these two guys and you're like, hey man, they might have been bad in the SEC, but when we put them into a group of five conference, these guys are superstars. And you see that right now as they are dominating college. I honestly think Michael Bell might get the nod because it seems like the game weighs receiving touchdowns and receiving yards more than they do passing yards and passing touchdowns. And so I think Michael Bell has probably the best chance out of anybody to win the Heisman year one, which would be dope for Vanderbilt development. And that could be the type of thing that gets you coach points that help you level up to get another job if he's looking to move. Okay. So that's something to think about. Now, moving on to the hot seat. So if you don't know, if you're new in Dynasty in this capacity, you can get fired. Okay. It's really hard to get fired year one. And so usually what happens, you get on the hot seat and you have to meet your requirements year two. And so these are the teams who I think have a really good chance already to be on the hot seat next year because of how they started, okay? So first, we got Hawaii. Now, Hawaii is a tough rebuild. Their roster is not very good, but his defense has been atrocious. He's given up almost over 48 points in all three of his games. And I just don't know if he's going to turn it around. I hope he does. Or at least he starts to win some of these shootouts because he's 0-3. And he's minus 96 in point differential. So he's losing by on average 32 points a game, which I think he had a really bad loss early and he's gotten better each week. So I'm hoping he turns it around. But if not, he's going to be on the hot seat year two because I know Hawaii's a rebuild, but you got to win some games, right? You got to win some games. So second person on the hot seat, USF. He's had a tough schedule. So he's minus 144. But I'm almost certain he's had two top 25 teams on his schedule already. And I was looking at the rest of his schedule. I'm almost certain he's going to turn it around. And he will not be on the hot seat at the end of the year. But as of now, it's not looking good for you. It's not looking good for you, man. I know you've had some tough ones. And that's the thing about scheduling, y'all. It's been all over the place. Some guys have played FCS teams. Some guys have played Alabama. It's going to be a lot more even next year because I've learned how to do the scheduling. So I appreciate y'all bearing with me. And especially all you guys who have taken lickings from computer. I appreciate y'all hanging in there. But USF's on the hot seat for now. But I think because of their schedule, he's going to turn around and he'll be fine by the end of the year. Okay. Moving on. Indiana's on the hot seat. They are, and this one I didn't expect. Indiana won the preseason tourney. Looked like he was going to come in and have a really good dynasty, be a really good user. The computer been whooping his tail. Computer has been whooping his tail. He gave up 77 to Ball State, which is a lower level opponent and a conference opponent. One thing that you might have noticed, if you play user in the computer, it's a different game. And so you kind of got to play a little different when you play the computer, and you have to make adjustments. And so hopefully he makes some adjustments. He's a good user, as we saw from him winning the preseason tourney, but he's on the hot seat if he don't figure it out in Bloomington. He hasn't got off to a good start at all, okay? Fourth team on the hot seat, Texas State. Now, Texas State is minus 72. They're 0-2, but they played Texas game one. I think they lost by like 50. And so I think that he's going to turn around. His schedule is a lot softer moving forward. And so I believe in Texas State. I put him on the hot seat because I want to be fair. He's 0-2. He doesn't have a win. But I think Texas State will be fine. I think they got a chance to still win their conference, which is crazy. At 0-2, I don't think he's played a conference game yet. And so I think he has a really good chance to turn the season around. But if he keeps going like he's going, he's going to be on the hot seat. And then the last team I got on the hot seat is UNLV. They've had a tough schedule. I think they might have had the toughest schedule to start. Every team they've played has been a Power 4 school. And so their schedule gets a lot easier down the stretch. I think just like USF, or just like USF and Texas State, that their schedule was just top heavy at the beginning. And as they move through and play some different opponents, I think UNLV will be fine as far as turning the season around and even finishing positive record with a chance to make a bowl game. Because right now he's 0-3, but I think he has a really good chance to turn it around. Now, you can make the college football playoff at one of these lower schools and one of these smaller conferences, but you basically got to go undefeated. Like, you really basically got to go undefeated. And so we have 4 teams right now that are undefeated, and I'm going to talk about if they have a realistic chance to make the college football playoffs. All right. First team we got is Virginia. Now, Virginia beat me on some fluke stuff. Nah, he beat me. And he is currently 3-0, and all his games have been conference games, which is huge because that means he doesn't have that many more conference games left. And so he has a really good shot to be a conference champion, which if you're one conference champion gets in, the highest group of 5 conference, highest ranked group of 5 power group. Whoa. The highest ranked group of 5 conference champion gets an automatic bid. And so Virginia has a chance to be there. I think he has a really good chance to go undefeated. It's going to come down to him playing via Virginia Tech at the end of the season. Virginia Tech is ranked. It is a computer game. If he can beat Virginia Tech, I think Virginia's in. As long as the wheels don't fall off on the season, I think he will be a college football playoff team, which is super dope. Super dope. The second team I think had a chance. FAU. I'm not sure about FAU. They won their first game. It was a very close game. Their second game was a fair sim win that they just kind of lucked into. They are 2-0. And so because of that, you undefeated until you ain't no more. I just don't know if they're actually good enough to make a run. Time will tell. I'm rooting for him. I hope he does, but I'm not as sure about FAU as I am about Virginia and a couple of the other teams on the list. The Raging Cajuns, I talked about them in the Heisman Watch. I love his offense. Anybody runs triple option, I'm a fan of yours. And he comes out, he runs a triple option, but he has some bombs. He has some really good defense. I've watched a few of his streams already. I love the way he's playing the game, and I think he's going to be a user to watch moving forward. I'm interested to see if he's going to flip this into a bigger job or if he's going to stay and build kind of that offense, that scheme at Louisiana. That's going to be interesting to see. But as of now, he is undefeated. He's 3-0, and I think his offense and defense gives users trouble. And as we move through the season, I think he has a really good shot with his speed and his scheme to handle the computer in most matchups. So I got him as having probably the second best shot to make the college football playoffs. And then the last team that is undefeated is Vanderbilt. As we saw the Heisman Watch, his offense is prolific. Man, he's putting up numbers. He is flinging the ball all over the place. I think that against the computer, against users, you're going to have to put up a lot of points to beat him, and that gives him a good shot to win most of his games. And so I think he has probably the best shot. Him and Virginia probably tied for the best shot to make the college football playoff. And one thing they both have in common is they are originally Power 5 schools that were super low rated. And so their rosters, as far as Power 5s were concerned, weren't very good. But now, like I said, when you put them into this, hold on, I'm trying to. My computer's supposed to charge. Okay, we're good. When you put them into these group of 5 schools, group of 5 conferences, they look a lot different. And so we've seen that with both of their teams and both of their rosters. And I'm interested to see if they're going to build these squads, because with these squads, because they started in the Power 4 conference, if you win a couple conference titles, I'll give them the opportunity to move back to the bigger conferences. So I'm interested to see if they stay and build, or if they're going to try to flip these into a school that's already in one of those conferences. And so, like I said, I hope you guys have enjoyed the league so far. Keep playing your games, keep staying active, talk some trash, post some highlights. Let's keep this mug going. I'm having a great time. Thank y'all for being part of Golden Age. And until next week, man, ball out, get some wins, and stop crying about the computer. All right, man. Peace.